everybody, it's me. We're gonna be doing Echo. Thanks to, J. Jude. Thanks to J. Jude for suggesting this. Thanks, J. Jude. Anyways, let's get right into it. Once upon a time, there was a kid named Echo. He was super duper smart and was making tiny machines at a very young age. His parents wanted him to have a good future, so they worked long hard hours in a factory to help their son look for opportunities in Piltover. Zaun was a polluted and crime-ridden city that was no place for a child of his genius, they thought. But Echo liked Zaun, and he didn't share the same views as his parents. He didn't want a life in a privilege-filled city like Piltover. While his parents saw Zaun as polluted and filled with crime, Echo saw a city filled with energy and potential. Aside from the tech-augmented thugs and baddies whose horrible deeds filled Piltover newspapers, Zaun had some scrappers and chemjacks who were innovative, resourceful, and had the desire to pioneer the future. That Zaun spirit inspired Echo to build machines out of junk that no one wanted. He made many friends in the streets of Zaun. Some were orphans, some were runaways, and others were thirsty for excitement. These kids all had different talents such as painting, sculpting, fucking parkour. They were the lost children of Zaun. Kinda like the Lost Boys of Neverland, and I guess Echo is kinda like their Peter Pan. These guys would have foot races all around the city and have like crazy ass parkour competitions. They would cause mischief to augmented criminal gangs and bullies. They had these secret hideouts where they would just fill everything up with their goods and paint it directly on the walls. As Echo grew up, his inventions became more complex and required more exotic components that he would steal from Piltover scrapyards. One night, Echo was scavenging a demolished lab and found a shard of a gem that glowed with magical energy. He quickly found the other fragments and noticed what he found was a broken Hextech crystal. When he got back to his hideout, he started to experiment with what he found. In one of his experiments, the crystal exploded. When Echo opened his eyes, he saw several versions of himself. What? All the Echoes worked together to fix the hole he had torn in the fabric of reality. Echo eventually used the broken pieces of crystal to build a device that would theoretically allow him to manipulate time. Before he was able to test the machine, one of Echo's friends invited him to go parkouring with him to celebrate his birthday. Echo accepted the invite and brought his newly built device along with him. So Echo and a bunch of his friends were up very high on an old clockwork tower when one of his friends fucked up and slipped. Echo activated the device he had on him and everything around him started to reverse. When everything went back to normal, Echo saw his friend about to fall again. Just as the kid was about to fall, Echo, super slick guy, grabbed onto him and tried to fling him to a nearby ledge. But he fucked up and miscalculated, so instead the kid got crushed in some gears. So Echo activated his device again, and again, until finally he got it right. To his friends, it looked like he had reflexes of a god. Echo told them about his new device and made sure they kept it a secret. But eventually these fuckers decided to do more crazy ass shit knowing that Echo would be there to save them. The more Echo used the device, which he now called the Zero Drive, the more stable it became. Eventually a lot more important people started to hear about Echo. A Zaunite scientist named Victor wanted to meet him, and even a Piltover innovator, Jace, wanted him to join his services. But Echo didn't want to join any of them. He wanted to be free and do things his way. He dreams that one day Zaun will become greater than Piltover. He thought if he can change the past, how hard could it be to change the future? And there you go. That's how Echo became Echo. The end.